We tend to walk through life like we're incomplete, like we're broken and becoming, like somewhere out there is a finished version of us we're still trying to earn, a calmer version, a healed version, a version that doesn't react so strongly to things. In this episode, we are going to explore that. My name is Matilda, and this is Beyond This. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Beyond This, the podcast where we talk grounded spirituality for your everyday use. I want to start with a sentence I hear all the time in readings, in messages, in conversations after events, on social media, when somebody says something that somebody doesn't like. I'm triggered. I'm overwhelmed. I can't manage this. And then they retreat. The door closes, the conversation ends, the relationship goes quiet, the opportunity gets put down and walked away from. I want to spend this whole episode on that exact moment because I don't think it's the end of anything. I think it's the beginning of everything if we know how to look at it. By the end of this episode, I want you to have a completely different relationship with the word triggered. And I'm going to leave you with a short meditation, as I always do, to actually anchor this in your body, not just your head. Because this isn't a concept you think your way into, it's one you feel your way into. Let's get into it this week. As with all my episodes, I will end today with a meditation. I will also, towards the end of the episode, talk about predictions that I have been shown, things I have seen. When they come in, they come in. This week, we have seen several of my 2026 predictions come in, including the resignation, the ousting, the axing, the basically drop kicking out of Victorian Parliament of Jacinta Allen. That actually happened today. I was sure I'd mentioned it on a podcast episode, but apparently I did not. But I definitely did in my 2026 year ahead. I said that she would be ousted, not vague, no vague predictions here. I never make vague predictions. I make very specific predictions, and Jacinta Allen being ousted is very specific. I also talked about a state of emergency in Europe and the UK due to fires and the heat, and that was declared this week as well. That happened. That prediction was from 2026, my year ahead, but I have been talking about the fires since January, February. I have been talking about the heat in Europe since January, February. And I am going to say this to anyone in Europe, UK, Ireland, those surrounding areas. August is not pleasant for you. I'm sorry. I wish I could bring you better news. August is not a pleasant month. But let's talk about today's episode. And it's really about the soul does arrive whole. Here's where I want to start. And it's a shift from how most of us were taught to think about ourselves. We tend to walk through life like we are incomplete, like we're broken and becoming, like somewhere out there is a finished version of us we're still trying to earn. A calmer version, a healed version, a version that doesn't react so strongly to things. But that's not what I have come to understand through this work, through the thousands of readings and connections I've been part of, through the messages that come through from the other side. the soul arrives whole. Nothing is missing. There is no cosmic error being corrected. You don't come here to fix something that's wrong with you. You come here with everything you need already inside of you. Let me say that a different way because I think it's easy to hear and hard to actually absorb. The wisdom, the strength, the capacity to handle whatever life puts in front of you. That's not something you're building for nothing. It's something you're remembering. It's already there. Life doesn't add it. Life reveals it. This matters because it changes the entire starting point of how we relate to hard moments. If you believe you're incomplete, every hard moment feels like proof of your incompleteness. But if you believe you're whole, every hard moment becomes something else entirely. A place where that wholeness gets to show up and do its work. Earth is the classroom, it's not the punishment. So if nothing is missing, if we arrive whole, why does it feel so hard sometimes? Why does being human feel like so much friction? Why do we get so raw, so reactive, so undone by things that on paper should never undo us? Because that friction is the point. Earth is not the punishment. It is the classroom. Think about it this way. A classroom isn't gentle by design. It's not supposed to be comfortable all the way through. You get handed problems you don't know how to solve, yet that's what makes it a classroom instead of a waiting room. The discomfort isn't evidence something's gone wrong. The discomfort is the curriculum. Every relationship that pushes your buttons, every conversation that makes your chest tight, every moment you want to walk out of the room, put the phone down, cancel the plan, go quiet. That's not a malfunction in the plan. That is the plan. The human part of us, the reactive part, the raw part, the part that gets triggered, that's not separate from the soul's work here. It is the soul's work. We don't get to skip the human experience to have the spiritual one. The human experience is the spiritual one, just wearing an earthly costume. I think a lot of people on a spiritual path get caught in this trap of thinking that the goal is to become unbothered, untriggered, numb to the friction. But that's not evolution. That is avoidance dressed up as entitlement. And dressed up as enlightenment. The goal was never to stop feeling the friction. The goal is to change what you do with it. Every trigger is a teacher in disguise. So let's talk about the word triggered. Notice what it implies. Something happened to you. You were the target. The world did something and you reacted. It positions you as a passenger. Something acted upon, not something choosing. Now hold that next to a different word: opportunity. Opportunity implies something is available to you. Same moment, same rise in your chest, same flash of heat, same impulse to leave the room, but an entirely different posture towards it. One puts you as a passenger, the other hands you the wheel. That's the reframe I want to offer you today. Every trigger is a teacher in disguise, not a threat, not a flaw, a teacher. One your soul, on some level, chose to meet. Because there's something on the other side of that discomfort that you couldn't get to any other way. Here's what I mean practically. Say someone says something offhand to you, and you feel that hot flash of defensiveness. That flash isn't random, it's pointing at something. Maybe it's an old wound. Maybe it's a boundary you haven't set. Maybe it's a truth about yourself you haven't wanted to look at directly. The trigger isn't the enemy, it's the arrow. It's pointing you somewhere. Most of us just feel the sting of the arrow and never look at where it's pointing. And there is a cost when we are triggered and we retreat. Here's that part I really want you to sit with, because I think it's where the real shift happens. When you retreat from a trigger, when you shut down, walk away, numb out, tell yourself, I can't deal with this, you haven't made the lesson disappear. You've just postponed it. It doesn't vanish, it waits. And very often it comes back wearing a bigger costume next time. A louder version, a harder version, because it's still trying to get through to you. That's why some people find themselves in the same argument with different people over and over for years. Same lesson, different face, because it was never actually met the first 10 times it showed up. Flow isn't the absence of friction. Flow is what happens when you stop bracing against the friction and start moving through it. Think of a river moving around a rock. It doesn't stop at the rock and refuse to go further. It doesn't pretend the rock isn't there either. It moves around, over, through, and it keeps moving. That's flow, not smoothness. Movement, even when there is something in the way. That's the whole shift I want to offer today, from retreat to encounter. This isn't about forcing yourself to feel fine when you're overwhelmed. It's not toxic positivity. And it's not about performing calm. You don't feel. You're allowed to feel the heat of the trigger fully. In fact, I'd say you need to. Bypassing the feeling doesn't get you the lesson any faster. It just buries it. The shift is in the question that you ask next, after you've let yourself feel it. Instead of how do I get away from this, try what is this actually offering me? You don't have to answer it right away. You don't have to have some grand insight in the moment, standing in the middle of the argument or the overwhelm. You just have to ask it, because asking it is what keeps the door open instead of slamming it shut. The insight often comes later, quietly, once the heat has passed. Your job in the moment isn't to solve it. It's just not to run from it. Over time, this is what smooth flow actually means. It's not that life gets easier or less triggering. It's that you stop spending your energy fighting the current and start spending it moving with it. Let's talk about Patreon. I am going to give a shout out to all our new Patreon members. Don't forget that whenever you join Patreon, you get a shout out on the podcast. Our $5 Matilda's Messages sponsors this podcast. It allows me to record this podcast every single month and bring that through to you. For the $5 a month, you get access to all of our chats in our community, a monthly newsletter, access to my lives that I do, my exclusive Patreon lives, and you sponsor this podcast. There are many other levels of Patreon and a lot of discounts available. The November reading discounts are about to be released to Patreon members. There, you get exclusive access to events before they go out to the public. For instance, I have just released Psychic Circle events, which are 10-member psychic readings. Each member gets, I know that it's really hard to book a reading with me. I know how hard that is. And I know it's not always reachable for people. But I do try and make things like my mediumship groups and my psychic circles available. I released 2 just on Patreon 2 weeks ago, and they filled up almost immediately. There is another 2 that have been released for October. I know it's a while away. If I can, I will bring some forward. But October is a good month for me because, anyway, I don't have as many commitments on me. But you're here for the Patreon shout outs, and I am going to thank Kathy Utz, Amber M, LG, Elizabeth, Laura Beth, and Emily Saves. Thank you for being members of our community. Please make sure that you go to the Collections tab. The Collections tab holds all of the different collections, whether it be a challenge, a workshop, a live, a coffee morning, all of that is available in the collections for the last 2 years. So you've got some reading, some watching, some listening to do. All of that is available for you. I also want to remind you, if you are in the $15 and up level, my coffee morning is this weekend. This is your opportunity to ask your current affair question. And do you know what? I think that's going to be a busy event because I see some big stuff happening this week. Your current affair question and your spiritual question, you have access to me on a Zoom. It is not on a social media platform. You will get the Zoom link to watch me, talk to me, interact. We have our coffee, glass of wine. I wish I could have a glass of wine, but it's 11 o'clock in the morning for me. All of that is really, really important. It's a great opportunity for you. And our community rocks. We support, we have a laugh. When I go live, we have a good giggle. I turn Patreon live this week, this Friday. You get to join me for a Patreon live this Friday. If you want to know about joining it, hop along to the show notes. The link is in the show notes for you to join. There is a 30% off code at the moment for new members. Go find it. If you join for a year, you're saving 30% off a year's membership. Perfect for you. All right, let's talk predictions next, because this next few days is not pleasant, I don't believe. All right. I desperately want to be able to do that like Matthew McConaughey does it. I, with my completely bastardized version of a British/Australian accent, is never going to be able to do that. But one can try. So we've seen a lot of my predictions from 2026 come in now. We are going to see a lot more happening very soon. It's time to put the champagne in the fridge. Um, I don't know how it's going to happen, is my honest answer to you. I am very, very concerned, and I am not going to lie. And I have been concerned for a number of months about an action that Trump will take that will have a worldwide impact, and that will be the end of his presidency. I think they've stopped him doing that. I think they've stopped him pressing the big red button is the nicest way that I can put it without getting flagged, shut down, NSA chasing me down, having ASIO on my doorstep. I am concerned that he is so past being reasonable that his temper could make that happen. And the ramifications globally and for his presidency, obviously, are going to be huge. But what I do want to say is that I am really hoping that he has a major medical event before that happens. I still get this feeling that we are going to hear the words. The president did not wake up this morning. But I just feel that he is desperate to make a long lasting impact on the world in a not good way. And I always said that I would be honest with you if I felt that something like that was imminent. Do I think it's going to be the start of World War III? No, I don't. I think it's going to be a one off event. And it may just be as simple as a dirty bomb, but I am really concerned about it. I've spoken about it on my Patreon. Um, do we are not heading, and I want to make this really, really clear. We're still here in 2027 and 2028. The world is not ending. I've been shown that we are still here in 27, 28. But what I am going to say is there is a what the fuck moment coming up in the next 10 days. And I don't know what that what the fuck moment is. I am always honest with you. I do know it's in connection with the USA and Donald Trump. It could be that he has a medical event. It could be that he presses a button he shouldn't. And I know that there are safeguards. I am not stupid. There is just an angry mentality to him that he's going to escalate things in the Middle East. I have been asked about the USA and Israeli armies merging. It will be stopped. I don't think it will go ahead. If it does go ahead, it will be stopped eventually. I'm not too worried about that. What I am going to say is that weather globally is going to have an impact in decisions and things that happen in the next 10 days. It could be that we see a fuck off earthquake, like a giant earthquake, an 8 plus that has an infrastructure impact. I just get this popping. Either Trump is going to pop something or something is going to pop in Trump's head. I am concerned about earthquakes. If you are in an earthquake zone, make sure you have your go bag ready. I cannot predict for, down to the area that is going to be impacted, but it could well be in the USA. We are going to see flights grounded. It's almost like one airport, two airport, three airports close. No more flights in and out at very, very short notice. If you're going on holiday, if you've got plans, make sure you've got travel insurance. We are going to see hospitals on shutdown, lockdown, red alert, whether it's an incoming of illnesses, trauma. I do want to say that they are under high pressure. If you are in the emergency services, please be gentle with yourself. Please expect the worst over the next week because I'm full of the joys of spring today. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to be honest with you. Good news is, I think that there is going to be a breakthrough in a genetic condition that can be repaired, taken out. There is a genetic condition where there is a massive breakthrough for it. There is going to be massive tech issues. So telephone systems going down, outages of banks, um, gaming services corrupted in some way. And there's something to do with Home Alone, the TV show Home Alone. It feels like it's going to be in the media or somebody to do with that, not the TV show, the movie series. Something to do with the movie series Home Alone is going to be in the media front and center. It could be one of the actors, actresses. It could be the house itself, but I am being shown Home Alone. If you are hearing that whimpering noise, it is Seamus having a dream beside me whilst I record. All right. I am going to do a guided meditation that should be able to help. I know things are difficult right now. It is going to feel spicy energetically for the next 10 days. Many people are going to struggle to sleep. Many people are going to feel like they're heading into some form of mental breakdown and then they feel fine. I'll tell you what really came to me earlier today. There's going to be a massive calling out of influencers that are not aligning with what they teach. You know, there's people that sit behind the camera and go, I have this clean house. And then all of a sudden their house, it comes out that their house is disgusting. I am this amazing parent. And you find out that they've been neglecting their children. I am this amazing spiritual practitioner and commentator. And suddenly the truth comes out about them because they've had their house repossessed or they've been thrown out or they discover they have no money. And they're full of bullshit. That is what I see happening over the coming months. And we're going to see a lot more of it. Really, people, the community, are wanting these people that are in power. And to a certain point, influencers do have a form of power where people are going, you know what, fuck you. You're not aligning with my values. I am going to stop watching you. I'm not going to follow you. I'm not even going to follow you for the gossip. I'm done. And we are going to see a lot of that. We're going to see people being deplatformed. That's how I wanted to say it. Let's get on with guided meditation. If you are sitting in the heat, if you're in Europe or the US, and you're fanning yourself because it's really, really hot and uncomfortable, and you are struggling because of the heat, my heart goes out to you because you know how much Matilda loves the heat. But spare a thought for me because I'm looking out the window of my studio and it is pissing down with rain. It is bitterly cold. There is fog, there is mist, and I think my grass is even has got fungus. It's revolting and I'm sick of it. And I just want sunshine and flowers and roses and warm clothes. And that's about that. What else do I have to tell? Before we go into this guided meditation, I want to tell you about a few exciting things that I have going on. I have just opened up my books for mentorship. Mediumship, the Matilda Way, is open for 10 members to join. And I'm keeping it at 10 in October. And I'm going to tell you, it's halfway sold out already. In October, it is 4 2-hour sessions, very clear mediumship training, ethics training, how to connect, how to receive your messages, all of that. 4 weeks, 2 hours each week on a Tuesday morning Australian time, which is a Monday evening in the US and Europe. It includes a 30-minute test reading with a member of our community, who I'll be looking for volunteers at some point, and 30-minute feedback from me, certificate and a celebration where we talk about our experience afterwards. That is up currently in my Patreon to even free members. You can find that if you go into the collections. There is a waiting list. I have certain questions for people to ask before. So I will add the details to my show notes. This is a once in a lifetime to be a member of the foundation cohort. Because I will be offering it again, but not until 2027. And I would get in quick because I think there's 5 spots left. If you are interested in honing your mediumship skills, working on your mediumship skills, learning about the ethics, learning about the responsibility, learning about reading for others. All right, let's jump into a guided meditation. And this is about meeting the trigger. I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable seated position and close your eyes if that feels right. Please don't close your eyes if you're driving. Let your shoulders drop. Let's take a few minutes together now to actually feel this in the body, not just understand it in the mind. Take a slow, deep breath in and let that breath out slowly. Again, breathe in and release. I want you to bring to mind gently a moment recently where you felt triggered, overwhelmed, that flash of heat, or that pull to retreat. You don't need to relive the whole story. Just let that feeling itself rise a little. The way it felt in your body. Maybe it was tightness in your chest. Maybe it was heat in your face. Maybe it was a sinking feeling low in your stomach. Just notice it. You're safe here. You're not back in that moment. You're just visiting the sensation from a distance with curiosity instead of fear. Now, silently offer that feeling these words. I see you. You are not my enemy. You're not proof that something is wrong with me. You are a teacher, here to show me something I couldn't see any other way. Now imagine that feeling as a door. Not something blocking your path, but something standing at the edge of a room you haven't fully entered yet. You don't have to walk through it right now. You just have to stop turning away from it. Ask gently, inward, what are you here to show me? You don't need an answer right now. Just let the question sit there. Like a seed, it will grow in its own time. Take one more full breath in and let it go. Feel your soul underneath all of this, whole, unshaken, unchanged by the trigger. The trigger moved through you. It didn't diminish you. It never, ever could. When you are ready, gently bring your awareness back into the room. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And when you feel comfortable, open your eyes. Every time you retreat from a trigger, you're not avoiding the lesson. You're just booking a later appointment with it. The soul already has everything it needs. Being human is where you get to use it. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'll see you in the next episode. This has been Beyond This. I am Matilda, and I'll see you next time.